My name is Lorrie. Welcome to my channel. We are quilters. Today's block is a 9-patch. I know it has a lot of small pieces and I don't want you to panic. So let me show you how this one is pieced so that it is a 9-patch. It takes 2 colors of red and 2 colors of blue. It is called 4 Candidates. It is a 9-inch block when it is finished. We will start with this little 9-patch in the middle, and then you see this unit has lots of background and 2 little half-square triangles. Lots of background, 2 little half-square triangles. So we are going to piece this as a 9-patch. When we get to this piece, I don't want you to panic. I will walk you through these outside corner patches. You can handle this. You're a quilter. You can handle anything. Just for fun, as I trim up all these lovely little half-square triangles, I'm going to start the stopwatch and see how long it really takes so you can be less intimidated. Those of you who go, oh, there's too many triangles. I just trimmed up 12 triangles in less than 8 minutes, and now they are perfect little half-square triangles ready to put into a block. Don't be intimidated by pieces. Make the quilt that you want to make. It'll be all right. Put on a movie. Trim away. It's time to lay out the center block. So I need a piece of background, and the reds are opposite from each other, and the blues are opposite from each other. Then I fill in around my little 9-patch. So as I sew this together, I'll do it like any other 9-patch in rows, and then I will press toward the dark blocks as I assemble it. Be back in a minute. Let's lay out these middle side blocks. I'm going to start with the 1.5-inch pieces. This block would be even easier to make if you use the same 2 reds, the same 2 blues, and then you wouldn't have to worry about getting the pieces in the right spot. Well, this is where we use up a lot of these little squares. There's still some of these left in the outside spots. So now I have this square. I need to point this in toward the head, and this one in toward the head. And these ones are for the next section. So you only use 2 of each of these for this section, and the other two will be for these last corner blocks. So there it is laid out for those middle parts. I'm going to go sew those together. If you notice that your squares are a little off, you may want to do a little bit of trim. You don't have to, but you may want to. Now, this is the, I don't want to say challenging because some people will panic. This is the part of the block. I'll show you what you need to do, and you will be able to do this kind of block anywhere, anytime, forever. There's an easy trick. Easy trick. So the next thing you're going to need to do, that's what we have so far. Let me set that aside. Next thing we need to do is do some more cutting. We have 4.5-inch squares. And if you're brave, you can cut them all at once. These are oversized, so we'll be trimming them up. I'm laying them all on top of each other, lining them up, and then I'm going to cut them once in half. We are going to use half of this, and the other half will be put into the extras bag. So half of these can go to the extras bag, and the other half we will need. The other thing I need to cut in half are these. The last 4 2.5-inch squares need to be cut in half the same way. These are a little oversized. So it will be, all right, because remember we use these when we make the 2 at a time half square triangles, so they have a little bit extra space in them. I'm using all of these so you can stack them up. Pull this back down here, put my ruler away because I'm done cutting, pull my pieces over. And now I need to lay out my pieces. I am going to lay out the triangle where it matches up with the other like pieces. Oops. And then I need to lay out, I'm going to put the legs on the section they go. Before I lay them out, we're going to make a 4-patch and then do some trimming. So, in each corner, you're going to need legs with the colored triangles pointing out. And then we are going to turn that into a 4-patch. Color pointing out, 4-patch. Sometimes it is so hard to see this white on white. Now I need triangles in these spaces. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, that is such an odd shape. Yes and no. like I said, I'm going to show you a trick that will make this turn out perfectly, and you will be amazed with the block you have just created. Start by making these little 4 patches in the corner, and then I will walk you through these little triangles. Press however you'd like for this little 4 patch. This is where you need to take a deep breath, and it will be okay, I promise. Look, I've made one. It's not that hard. There's just a little trick to it, and you'll need your ruler here in a minute. But it will be all right. So now I have the blocks laying here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my pin cushion, and you know how much I love pin cushions. Where the colored triangle is, I'm going to lay my half triangle across and pin it. Same with the other one. Where the color is, I'm going to lay it across, line up this bottom line, and I'm going to pin it. And where I have that pin, I'm going to sew 1/4 inch the whole way and right off the edge, because we're going to trim these. So let me show you that again. Probably be easier for you to see if I do it while it's laying down. So I fold it in, pin it, fold it in, pin it, and now I know the sides to sew on. And I have one last one right here. Fold it in, pin it, fold it in, pin it. I'm going to go to the sewing machine and sew where I have pinned on those colored lines, and it will be an interesting shape when I come back, but it'll be all right. You don't need to hold your breath. Let your breath out. Calm is nice. You can do this. If you have made any quilt blocks at all, you can do this. Hang on, I'll be right back. Now, I know you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is the oddest shape ever. You are going to press those triangles outward, and it is an odd looking little piece, but you will love the results in the end. Here is the trick, and you cannot skip this step. You have this odd little bat looking shape. There and there you have points. You are going to give yourself 1/4 inch lined up from that point and that point, and you just trim that off. Now you have a triangle that you can work with. Do that to all 3 pieces. Line it up on that little colored point. 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. Trim it off. And last one, since I already made one of these, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. Trim it off. And then you are ready to add the big triangles. Let me move this ruler out of the way. We will come back to trimming this up. Now, this triangle is oversized. Do not panic. So you need to make sure, before you go to the sewing machine, these points line up so that you have extra, and you'll be able to trim this, and it will be wonderful when we are done. Again, I'm going to pin just so it stays put, because right now I have all these bias edges along here, and I'm going to handle this carefully. I'm not going to do any tug of war with it and stretch it all out of shape. I am going to trim it up after I sew anyway. So now that I have it trimmed, I'm just going to sew my 1/4 of an inch, and you can see where you want to aim. It will be all good. Handle with care though. Now, these need to be trimmed to 3.5 inches. I'm going to use my little 3.5 inch trim it ruler, but you don't have to. If you don't have one of those, you can use your regular ruler. Just find your 45-degree line and let it help you trim it to 3.5. Just think carefully before you cut. So this has 45-degree lines on it. And in some places it's very close, in other places it's not. So I'm going to trim it all up, make sure it works. And there's so many seams there that I think it's easier to lift it. I've done 2 sides. Lift it, put it back, than it is to do all 4 sides at once. So there we have the red. 2 of the 3 sides. And as soon as this is all finished, it'll be just like assembling any other 9 patch. I hope that you try this and don't panic. And this one even has a little more, and I can see that this is going over, it's in the middle of those 2, so that I know I'm not going to have my legs off center. So there we have another set of legs. And the last one. And that line is lined up, and that line is lined up. And this line, use those lines to help you. You pay for those. Might as well use them to your advantage. Oh, and I felt the ruler slide just a little bit, so I am going to take the ruler off and reposition it so that it lines up with the 2 sides I trimmed. Oh, and that one there was just a little couple threads. And that one seam. There we go. So now I just need to assemble it like a 9 patch and put a border around it, 2 inches, and we will have this block done and ready to put into the quilt. I'm doing the final trim up with the 12.5 inch ruler. I've added on 2-inch borders so that it finishes at 12.5. Here's the big reveal. There it is, 4 candidates, 2 red, 2 blue. I hope that you gave this block a try and don't be intimidated by those triangles. If you can master this, you can piece anything on this planet. See you on Friday for Blabfest. Remember, a free printable PDF pattern is available on my blog, We Are Quilters.